So I work on a mission called SMILE. We are the lead PI institute for one of the major instruments, the SXI, standing for Soft X-ray Imager, and my role is the lead mechanical engineer. So my responsibilities are making sure all this very delicate and sensitive components can survive the harsh environment of launch, and then also the very cold vacuum of space during orbit. So yeah, effectively engineer a successful instrument and successful hardware. SMILE stands for Solar Magnetosphere Ionosphere Link Explorer. So the idea of the mission is it does a very highly elliptical orbit. It gets away from the Earth and tries to look back towards the magnetosphere, and it's trying to study and understand the solar weather. We have all these space satellites that affect all of our daily lives on such a normal basis that any harsh activity happening could damage all these satellites, which directly impacts everything we're doing, and we need to try and have a better understanding. I think it was a very late discovery what I wanted to do with my career. I enjoyed playing sports, so I think like most kids, or a lot of kids, I wanted to be some sort of an athlete. And then as secondary school came about, it became more of, I enjoy doing those things, but I think I also enjoy problem solving, maths, physics, etc. So maths and physics sort of did that for me, for the things that I was okay at, and yeah, it gave me the ability to solve problems. Most things that we do can be very transferable. The key attributes, whether it's my job or most jobs, I think, so soft skills like teamwork, communication, etc., they're so valuable. I think they're quite fundamental to doing an okay job at most things where you work with people. So a lot of the communication that you do, whether you're playing football or cricket, is like being able to talk to your teammates. We have to communicate, we're trying to achieve things together. So that communicative and teamwork aspects are super important alongside working and solving problems on your feet. And that can also be reflected in engineering. Sometimes you're on these big meetings and there is a lot of pressure and it may get the best of you, so they all transfer and they all link. So I sort of picked engineering as a degree to do. I actually quite like planes. So more aeronautical aspects, designing planes. And then as I did my degree, I sort of joined this extracurricular activity called Form the Student, where the team of students come together to build a car from scratch. So that was basically a huge student-led activity, big team. We have to get sponsors and we have to do all these different things. So we have to do the design, the build, get money for us from somewhere. So that's where the sponsors come in. So yeah, doing all of that sort of got me super excited about Formula One and automotive industry. And that sort of led into me pursuing that for my master's projects. So at this point, the one thing I knew was I enjoyed problem solving. I didn't necessarily know I wanted to be a specific industry. I just figured out, I enjoy this, I enjoy this, I enjoy this, I enjoy this. And there was an opportunity, an internship that came about working on the SXI instrument quite in the very early stages. And I sort of gave that a go. And so yeah, that was sort of very exciting. So that's sort of how I got into the space industry. Quite a late journey, I suppose. There are periods of typical days, but it can honestly range so much. Sometimes you have the general activities of sitting in front of a computer and writing documentation and reviewing documentation from different people. Those tend to be the more dull aspects. Often you get quite intense periods of when you're testing. So we'll design something and try and assess, okay, will it survive? Will it do what we want it to do? Space tends to be quite big projects, so massive collaborative efforts. So you're working with teams across different countries. Even within the same country, you can have different institutes. So I love teamwork. I love coming together with people. It can be quite a wide, fast-paced at times. It can be quite slow at times. But it's generally always going to be quite challenging. What I don't think people quite realize, or may not realize about my job, is it can be very intense at times. Problems come in at you from all sorts of directions that you don't sort of see coming, which for me is very exciting. The range of possibilities of things you can do is quite big. For anyone that does want to do similar to what I want to do, problem solving I think is a big part of it, understanding how things work, coming up with different solutions, understanding what your constraints are. So enjoy problem solving, enjoy the basics of maths and physics, the fundamentals, because if you can do those fundamentals well, the basics of maths and physics, you can apply that to such a wide range, whether that's my role or many of my colleagues' roles. So it can be so widely applicable if you can do those basics. If you're interested in space or working in the space sector, I think it's a particularly exciting time. There's a lot of there will be a lot of jobs. There'll be it's a very fast-growing industry. There's a lot of money that's going in, especially within the UK, but just generally everywhere. It's just a very exciting space in terms of the different technologies you're working across, how that all gets incorporated in and sending that hardware into space. So the scope of opportunities in terms of the variety of jobs, but also the technologies and everything we can fit in and ship into space is just going to open some room for so many exciting jobs. So yeah, it's a very exciting time within the space industry.